So we had the oral arguments before the Supreme Court today about Donald Trump and his tariffs. And one of the questions that kept getting brought up by multiple Supreme Court justices has to deal with the major questions doctrine. And the major questions doctrine essentially is that Congress specifically has to give an agency the power to do something if it is not something that would normally be in their purview. So, for example, with these tariffs, the law, the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or whatever the exact wording is that Donald Trump is pointing at as his reason for being able to do all of these tariffs, etc., doesn't mention the word tariff, and it doesn't say that they have the power to impose a tax, which a tariff is a tax. Congress has that ability, and because Congress hasn't specifically delegated it, these justices are looking at it going, well, do they have to do that? And even the lawyers for the DOJ kind of stumbled on that question a little bit. And one of the times they were asked about it, I think it was Justice Kavanaugh turned it around and said, so does, by this interpretation, since you're saying that this isn't reviewable and that it doesn't fall within the purview of major questions, etc., that you can just do this, does that mean that Donald Trump can just declare war? Congress could pass something that says Donald Trump could declare war if he wanted to. Now, I'm rephrasing a little bit there, but effectively that was the question. And even the DOJ attorney kind of stumbled back and said, well, no, Congress would have to do that. I think ultimately these tariffs get overturned by this Supreme Court. Now, the question is going to come down to when. We may not get an answer on this case until May, June, at the end of their term. And then the other question is going to be, what happens to the tariff money? Who knows? Now, Donald Trump claims that they've raked in trillions and trillions, which doesn't seem to line up with other estimates. Most estimates are saying it's only a few $100 billion, which is a lot of money, but that has actually hurt the economy all the way around. I don't know if that money has to be returned, and if it gets returned to the businesses, well, that helps them out, but that doesn't actually solve anything because we ultimately paid it because they just raised their prices. And there's a good chance those prices won't come down once the tariffs are overturned. So there's still a lot of moving parts with this case. We'll see how they rule. But they seemed very skeptical of Donald Trump actually having the tariff power, which is kind of the way I thought those oral arguments would go.